Welcome back. Our second guest is mindset coach Sharee Shefket, and we'll be discussing how to recognise the signs of burnout. Welcome, Sharee.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
I just want to know, what exactly is burnout?
Burnout is basically a mental and physical exhaustion, and it's usually work related. So it's because the pressure of the work environment has got to that person and it's now affecting them mentally and physically. So there's obviously mental and physical symptoms with burnout. So they will have a symptom of apathy, they might be cynical, they will have some physical symptoms, especially if they're working 9 to 5. They might have a really great weekend and then that Sunday dread will come along, and so they start to feel like, oh, I don't want to go to work tomorrow, because that build up stress in their body is just overwhelming. So they have this also where they just don't care anymore, and it's like they're on autopilot in their work, so they're doing what they have to do, all the tasks, but they're not really present. Like if there's a meeting, for instance, they're just going through the motions of that task. They're not really adding value to their job. And so what happens is that over time, that person don't have any passion left, and they start to feel withdrawn. They might not want to talk to their co-workers. They will maybe more irritable and snap at their co-workers for asking a silly question. But there's also a lot of stigma around burnout. So I'll give you an example as well of how I experienced burnout, and later on in life how I was able to recognize the symptoms. So when I was about 20 years old, I was studying, I was working full time, 2 jobs, the whole bit, trying to save up as much money as possible. That was my goal. And at the start, I was thriving. I was like, I could do this, I'm young, I've got the energy, I can do it all. But after some time, it obviously caught up with me, and I was literally exhausted. I would sleep and I'd get up and I felt still exhausted. I'm like, well, what is it? Like, why do I feel so tired? And I'm usually a very happy, smiley kind of person, and I just didn't have the energy. I was just doing the bare minimum I had to do because I was just so exhausted. And I recognised that this is just, something's right, I need a rest. So I approached my manager at the time and said, listen, I'm not coming in tomorrow. I'm literally exhausted. I just feel like I need a break. I just need to go do something fun and just get out of here. And I just had this emotional outburst, and that's another symptom. I was uncontrollably crying. I've never done that before, just started crying out of nowhere. But I was just so tired. And after that, I took that break. I made some drastic changes where I decided that money wasn't as important and my self-care was, and I left that position. So that's when I decided that I'm going to now make some changes, because I hadn't experienced burnout yet. I was just recognising the symptoms, and that's what's really important.
It sounds quite similar to depression. So what is the difference between burnout, depression and stress?
Great question. So let's talk about stress first. So stress can be quite beneficial sometimes. So for example, if you've got a big task to do, like a dinner party for instance, and you've got a bit of stress happening, it's just excitement a little bit, and it gets you under the pump, and it could be quite useful sometimes. When stress becomes chronic, that can lead to burnout, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Now let's look at depression. Now depression is a mood disorder. So with depression, it's total apathy, a sense of hopelessness, a lot more physical and mental symptoms happening with depression, and it will seep through all areas of your life. Whereas burnout will be more confined into the workplace. It can also affect your personal life, but not so much. So someone who's, say, experiencing burnout might love their weekend, but they'll have that dread on that Sunday night lead back to work. Where someone who's depressed, it doesn't matter what day it is. And the difference between someone who's experiencing burnout and depression is that chronic stress. So I could take someone who is experiencing burnout and take them to the Greek islands, pamper them all day, have massages, cocktails, have some vitamin D, having that gorgeous weather, and they will start to go back into themselves and feel less stress. That nervous system starts calming down, and you'll say to them, okay, when you come back to work, we've offloaded half your tasks, so you're not going to feel as overwhelmed, and that person will be able to start to enjoy their career again. Not so much with depression. I could take them to the same person to the Greek islands. It doesn't really matter, that mood disorder. But burnout can lead to depression, something that needs to be concerned about, that we don't want that to happen at all.
So what are some tips then to prevent burnout?
The biggest prevention is self-care. When you're in a workplace, you might be allocated an allowance for a therapist, and a lot of workplaces now encourage, because they recognise that burnout is a problem in the workplace. So there are free resources if you have a 9-to-5 type of employment and have access to that therapist, which is fantastic, and I recommend utilising that. And you don't even have to tell your manager because of the stigma. You might just say, I just want to organise this session, and it's usually confidential, which is great in terms of arranging that session. Now, if you're self-employed, obviously you don't have those resources in place, so you can obviously find your own therapist, which is fantastic, but also implement a lot of self-care. What is it that you like to do? Do you connect with people? Are you doing any healthy habits? Are you taking regular breaks? Are you maybe doing some meditation? So have a look and see how much self-care are you doing during the week, because when you are self-employed, you become a little bit obsessed with your business to recognise the symptoms before it manifests into burnout. Prevention is key.
Thank you so much for your advice on that topic. If you'd like to know more about Sharee and the signs and symptoms of burnout, you can visit Sharee's webpage via our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. After the break, we'll be back with another guest and another interesting conversation.